Welcome to our top sports picks and plays for Beat the Number, the NBA Morning Edition. Thank you for joining me. We do have a slate of NBA games that are happening later on today that we want to get through. So you want to get ahead of the number for the totals, over-unders, and the point spreads on the NBA card. So the first game on the docket for the NBA will be the Houston Rockets at the Dallas Mavericks. This game is in Dallas. It's a 3 o'clock start this afternoon. Dallas is -4, total 226. Right now it is at 4.5, and we're starting to see some fives come up in a few books. Not much, but mainly 4.5. Total is 225.5. So we're going to look at the injury report for both teams. This is for Dallas and Houston. So we're gonna look into this now. Let's look into that. First, we'll look at the Dallas side for the Mavericks. We're gonna check on Anthony Davis. He might be making his debut today in the trade with the Luka Doncic trade. He may be playing today. We're gonna find that out right now because last game he didn't play. I think that was the Philadelphia game he did not play, so we'll look into that now. And we'll see if Max Christie is going to play as well, make his debut for Dallas. So let's give me a moment, we'll look into that. And we'll look into the Houston side as well. And I do have a play on this game as well, too. I'm going to give that play out in a moment on the Houston-Dallas game. It'll be either a side or a total, but I definitely have a play on this game. Just bear with me for one moment. Okay, so on the Dallas side, Dwight Powell is ruled out for this Saturday with a hip. Anthony Davis, he's upgraded to available to play this Saturday, so he will definitely make his debut. Caleb Martin out indefinitely, and Derek Lively out indefinitely, and Max Christie is going to be playing as well. Now for the Houston side, on the Houston Rockets side, we do see here, one moment, let's check Houston. Fred VanVleet out indefinitely with the ankle, still out, and Jabari Smith Jr. is out. So if you're wondering where we're getting these lines from and the injury report from, oddslogic.com. So oddslogic.com gives you the latest up-to-date information on the injury report, up to the minute, totals, over-unders, and the point spreads and the line movements. That's oddslogic.com for your latest. All right, so now back to this game, Houston-Dallas. We're going to check the matchup history between these two teams. So they played twice already. October 31st, that's the beginning of the season in Dallas. Dallas was a 6.5 point favorite. The total was 226 at the time. Houston covered the 6.5 points, and they won 108-102. It was under 226. Second game was in Houston last month, and Houston was a 4.5 point favorite. Houston won 110-99 and covered as a 4.5 point favorite, and it was under 221. So this is the third meeting. Houston overall, the last 10 games, 4-6 last 10, and are 5-5 against the spread, 5-5 to the over/under. Houston's last 5 straight games. They lost 5 in a row, but out of the 5 games, they've covered 2 out of 5 games. They've covered 1 on the road in New York as a 7-point underdog, and they covered in Memphis as a 4-point underdog. Regarding the over/under, they are 3-2 to the over, Houston. Now on the Dallas side for the Mavericks, Dallas last 10 games, 4-6, 5-4-1 against the spread, and are 8-2 to the over. So Dallas is 2-3 in the last 5 games, and are 4-1 to the over. So they're coming back. They're off of a 5-game road trip. Again, they went 2-3 on the 5-game road trip. So it's the first game back from a road trip. This one's 4.5. So I have a few plays on this. A few plays I like on this game. First of all, I do like. Let me look here carefully. Let me look at this further. Let's see. Yes, I have 2 plays on this game. I like Dallas. I like Dallas in this spot. The number is moving in the correct direction. It's 4.5. It's going up to 5 in some books, and I agree with the move. I like I said, 4.5 Dallas, and I like the under 225 for 2 reasons. Number one, I like the under because of Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is there to solidify everything on the defensive side of the ball, and I believe you're going to see going forward, Dallas is slowly going to be a team that's going to be playing to a lot of unders. Their games are going to go to under the total. I think you'll see that go a little bit going forward. So I think that's why I like the under. Despite Dallas playing 3 straight overs, with Anthony Davis there, like I said, this game goes under. He's a big shot. He's a big rim protector defensively. He can seal the paint and block shots, so that definitely helps out. That's why I like under the 225.5. I like Dallas here. They've lost twice to this team already. Yeah, they lost to Houston twice, so this is an ideal spot for Houston to finally win a game at home, covering the 4.5 number. So those are the 2 reasons why I like Houston 4.5. I like Dallas minus 4.5, and the under 225.5. Now, if you like Houston, obviously you're gonna wait for a better number. Wait till the line goes up. If you like Houston, if you like Dallas, like myself, you get it right now. Try and get it now. The 4.5, 5 now, so you can get ahead of the number and beat the number. All right. The next game we're gonna look at here. Indiana at the Lakers. So the Lakers are 2.5 point favorites. The total is 233. This one's gone all the way up to, we're seeing 3.5, 4 come up on the board. Yes, so that's what we're seeing, and it's let's see, it's 231. It opened up. It's coming down to 233, and now you're seeing 230. We're seeing 230.5, 231, I'd say. So we're seeing that right now. So we're gonna look at the injury report. That's Indiana. So Miles Turner has a concussion. He's out for today's game. Isaiah Jackson's out. On the Lakers side, for the Lakers, LeBron James, he's downgraded here. It says, I believe he might be questionable. Let me double check this. Actually, it says LeBron James is unlikely to play in this game. So he's unlikely to play. So yeah, it looks like he may not play. The line's gone to 4 though for some reason. It's gone 2.5. Actually, let me just check something here. One moment. It's now, so LeBron James is out of the lineup. So Indiana, so the Lakers were 2.5 point favorites, total 223. LeBron James is out of the lineup today. He's not playing. All of a sudden, the Pacers are 3.5 to 4 point favorites. So that's a big swing. So that's the reason why the Indiana is favored right now. Mark Williams, acquired in the Charlotte Hornets trade, is questionable to play Saturday versus Indiana, so it's 50-50. Luka Doncic is out, not playing. He has a calf injury. Maxi Kelber is out with a foot injury. Christian Wood is out. So Indiana all of a sudden is a 4-point favorite. 3.5, 4-point favorite. The total here now, it's gone down. It's 230. It's gone to 230. It's come all the way down to 230 right now. So it dropped from 233 to 230. That's interesting. So look into this now. All right, so we're going to look into this matchup here. First meeting of the season, Indiana last 10 games, 7-3 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. This is the last game of a 4-game road trip for the Pacers. They are 2-1 on the road trip. Overall, last 5 games, 4-1 last 5, and 3-2 to the over. And the Pacers have the Lakers. Let's look here. Let me look at the Lakers side here. 8-2 last 10, 7-2-1 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. The Lakers have won 4 straight games, but that's in jeopardy with LeBron James being out tomorrow. 4-1 last 5 games, and are 4-1 to the over. The Lakers are an underdog, a home underdog. That hasn't happened in a long time. The last time they were an underdog, that was against Boston at home. And they were 6.5-point underdogs and they covered. So they haven't been an underdog too often at home. And they were an underdog against the Knicks. Then they were an underdog against the Knicks on the road. One covered in 1 in New York. Same thing with the Clippers. Yeah, this is a game I'm going to pass on. I mean, I know everybody's going to take Indiana because LeBron James is out and everybody's picking the Pacers to win and cover the 4 points. I'm going to pass on this game. More than likely, I'll do another video tomorrow. I'll have player props in this game, but for an actual play and aside in the total, I'm not touching this game. This is a complete pass. Yeah, I'm not touching this game. So we'll move on to the San Antonio-Orlando game. This one's -3. Or San Antonio favored, total 220.5. All of a sudden, Orlando's favored now, 2.5 Magic. And the total's coming down, 2.9. It's 218.5. 219 is the current number. So the Magic are favored after San Antonio is favored. Right. So we're going to look into the injury report to see what's happening on this game. So Orlando, we're going to check the Magic and look at the injury report here. And then we'll look into the San Antonio situation. So on the Orlando side, Jalen Suggs is unlikely to play with any injury. Gary Harris is questionable with the hamstring injury. Martez Wagner is out for the season. On the San Antonio side for the Spurs, nothing to report. They are healthy. No injuries there. So we'll look into this. We're going to look into the San Antonio-Indiana game. San Antonio-Orlando game. So Laker game, by the way, is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just in case you guys want to know. So San Antonio-Orlando, 7 o'clock tonight. And for this game here, this is the first meeting between these two teams. San Antonio last 10 games overall, 3-7 last 10, 3-7 against the spread, 8-2 to the over. So the Spurs are on a 6-game road trip. This is the 4th game of the 6-game road trip. 1-2. in the 3 games so far, and 2-1 to the over. Overall, last 5 games, 2-3 in the last 5 games, and 3-2 to the over. That's San Antonio. Orlando, 2-8 last 10, 2-8 against the spread, 3-7 to the under. So Orlando's back from a 6-game road trip where they went 1-5 on the 6-game road trip, and are 1-4 to the under. So they're playing to the under, Orlando, while San Antonio is playing to the over. And Orlando's 2.5-point favorites. That's strange. Let's look at San Antonio here. And let me look at the total. Let's see something. We're going to look at the total in this game. It has gone to 220. Let me look at something. Let me look at the team totals here for a minute. I'm just going to check something here. Yeah, the only way I can look in this game, the only thing I can look at is this. I gotta look at I gotta look at an Orlando team total. I gotta look at an Orlando team total here. This is what I'm gonna have to look at. Yeah, I'll have to look. 218. Let me look into this further. Let me dive deep into this further. Let me see something here. I don't understand why the total's going down. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why this total's going down. I don't know why. Yeah, in this game here, I'm gonna have to bet. I'm gonna have to go with the over. I don't know why it doesn't make any sense. Why this total's going down? I know Orlando is playing to the under a lot in these games. I understand they're playing a lot of unders in this game, like especially on the West Coast. When they're on the West Coast, the unders were like, they're playing West Coast teams. The unders were 1-4 to the under. Under against Portland, 211.5. Under Utah, 217.5. Golden State, 209. Denver, 217. But San Antonio, they're a different breed, because offensively they have a lot of offensive firepower. Especially now with DeAndre Fox added in the trade. It is this number 218 to me is too low. It's too low of a number. I had to take a look at this again. It's too low. It was at 220. I thought it would go up, but it's come down. It's 218.5, 219. I gotta bet the over here. I have to get over the total. San Antonio games, their games go over the total. Spurs games go over. And I don't think Orlando is going to have any sort of influence whatsoever to have San Antonio play down to their level of style of play to make this game go under the 218.5 or 219. I believe this is going to go over. And this is the first time San Antonio in a game their total has been 218.5. That's unheard of. Usually when they play their games, it's usually 220 and above. It's well over 220. So I gotta bet the over. It's gotta be 218.5, 219 over the total. That's the only way I gotta play. This is the only way I gotta play it. I gotta play it this way. I can't play any other way. In terms of the side, I'm not touching the side. That's gonna be I'm gonna stay away from the side and just bet the total here. And look at some Victor Wembanyama props. I know San Antonio's on a back-to-back, but I still look at some Wemby props. Victor Wembanyama props. You gotta look at that. Wemby props. And look at Paolo Banchero for Orlando. Orlando Magic props. You want to look into those as well too. So that's all I got to say about that game. Next game is Atlanta at Washington. This one opened up -6, total 244.5. This is a high total. Atlanta played last night and Washington played last night, so this is interesting. The number has gone all the way down back to 5, and it is at 238.5, 239. We'll say 238.5, and it's gone down to 4.5, 5. We'll say that. On the Atlanta side for the Hawks, we'll check the injury report for Atlanta. Nothing, let me see here. Nothing's coming up. No, we have two players. Clint Capella is questionable to play tomorrow with a back injury. Jalen Johnson's out for Atlanta. On the Washington side, for the Washington Wizards, we have let's see this one. We're going to double check. Just bear with me for a moment. We check this out. Okay, so for the Washington side, the Washington Wizards, injury Saddiq Bey, knee, out indefinitely. And we have Marvin Bagley III, knee out indefinitely as well. Let's see what else we have here. That's all on the Washington side. I'm not seeing anything else pop up. Let me just check. Let me double check this again. Malcolm Brogdon is questionable. So we see he's questionable to play Saturday with an illness. Alexandre Sarr, questionable to play Saturday as well. Nothing. Let me see. Anything else popping up here? That's it. Nothing else for that game. So look into the Atlanta Washington game here. This is the one tomorrow. Later on today. This is a 7 o'clock start. So they already played 3 times already. This is the 4th and final meeting. First meeting, October 28th in Atlanta, beginning of the season. They were 7.5 point favorites. Atlanta, total 234.5. This one, Washington covered and won, 121-119 over 234.5. Second meeting, October 30th in Washington. And Atlanta was a 5.5 point favorite. This one went down to 233.5. Washington covered and won again, 133-120. And it went over 233.5. Third game was in Atlanta, November 15th. Atlanta was a 9.5 point favorite. Atlanta beat Washington and covered 129-117, and it went over the total. This one here now is 5.5 Atlanta, and the total is 238.5. That's what we're seeing right now. Atlanta 2-8 last 10 games against other opposition, 6-4 against the spread, 5-5 over under. So they're on a 3-game road trip again. They are favored. 2-3 last 5 games, and are 4-1 to the over. Washington 3-7 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 5-5 to the over/under. Washington 3-2 last 5 games. So they're starting to play a little bit better. Washington, they're coming around. Yeah, they're playing a bit better now, and they've covered 4 straight games. They've covered 4 in a row. 4 straight games Washington's covered. As an underdog, 4 straight, which is impressive. So that means they're playing hard, and they're 4-1 to the over. So I gotta take, especially I gotta take. And this game's in Washington. Yeah, I gotta take Washington here. To me, this is a look-ahead spot. I don't think Atlanta's. Let me see here. Yeah, Atlanta's not taking Washington seriously. In my opinion, I don't think they are. I don't think any team is in the league taking Washington seriously. I just feel they're looking ahead to Orlando. That's the next. They play them on the 10th, and they're looking ahead to that. So it's a look-ahead spot, in my opinion. And I believe Washington can cover this number. I think they can cover the 5.5. They've covered 4 straight games. I think Washington's onto something. They're onto something here. I like them here to cover. The 5.5 here. Plus 5, 5.5. I like Washington to cover. And like I said, they've gone last 5 games 4-1 to the over, and last 4 they've covered 4 straight games as a dog, and they've gone 3-1 to the over. So I like Washington to cover, and I like the over 238.5. I think this goes over. I like the over here, over 238.5. Definitely like what I'm seeing from Washington here. And I understand both teams played last night, but I still like the over in this game. Plus 5.5 Washington, and I like the over. That's my play. Next game we're going to look at. Let's get to it. Let's see here. Portland at Minnesota. This, I believe, is the rematch from the other. I believe. Let me just look here. I believe this is the rematch. Let me see. Yes. No. Actually, no. This is the first. This is their 3rd meeting. Sorry, I thought this was the rematch. Sorry. This is the 3rd meeting. Actually, no. The 4th and final meeting. This is their 4th meeting. 4th and final meeting. But we will look at the injury report first before we get ahead of ourselves. So Minnesota 7.5 point favorites at home. Total 217.5. Minnesota at home, Portland on the road. So this number has come down to 6. So right now it is at 5.5, 6. That's what we're seeing, and it's at 216. It's come down to 216 and a half. So let's say 216 and a half. That's what we're seeing here, and it's 5.5, 6. That's basically what it is. So we look at the injury report here for this game on the Portland side for the Blazers. Let's see. Portland side. Let's see if we see anything here. Portland. Denny Avdija is questionable with a hand injury. Scott Henderson, ankle, questionable to play Saturday. Minnesota side, Mike Conley is questionable to play Saturday with a finger injury. Anthony Edwards has a hip injury, questionable to play Saturday. Let me see if I see anything else in this game. Julius Randle, as you know, has a growing injury. He's out indefinitely. Dante DiVincenzo, toe injury, is out. And I think, yeah, Matisse Thybulle injury is out as well. So that's it for both sides. That's for both teams. That's the injuries report for both teams. Now for the head-to-head, November 8th, they played in Minnesota. Minnesota was a 12-point favorite. They covered 127-102. It went over 220.5. Second game was November 12th in Portland. Minnesota, a 9-point favorite. Portland covered, won 122-108, and went over 222.5. Third game, November 13th in Portland. Minnesota, a 10-point favorite. Portland covered, won 106.98, and it was under 220. This one here is 216. Minnesota's a 5.5-point favorite at home. Portland last 10 games, they have won 6 straight games. And again, they're an underdog. But this is all these games. This is all at home. 6 straight at home. All home games at home. Now they have to go on the road. They've covered on the road. They've done pretty well on the road. They've covered 3 straight on the road and won 3 straight. So they've done well on the road. Yeah, Portland's done an amazing job. And then the over-under, they are 2-3 to the under. So they're doing it with defense and covering spreads as a dog. Minnesota, 7-3 last 10, 6-4 against the spread, 7-3 to the over. Minnesota 3-2 the last 5 games, and are 4-1 to the over. Minnesota's covered their last 2 games at home. So we've covered Chicago and Houston. Yeah, I got to take Portland here. Portland on the points. I got to take Portland. I got to take the Blazers here. Portland for me, plus 5.5. That's the way to go here. They're the hottest team in the NBA for a reason. Yeah, I got to take Portland here. Portland plus 5.5. Regarding the total in this game, 216.5. 216.5. I'm gonna pass on the total. No play on the total. It's like Portland plus 5.5. I'm not seeing anything on the total that I like. So that's my play for that game. Now, if you like Portland, it's gone to 6. So I'm seeing some books have it at 6. I'm seeing that right now as I'm looking, because these numbers change up to the minute. They keep changing and changing. So if you like Portland, you want to try and get the plus 6. Obviously, plus 6. Hopefully goes to 6.5. You can get it at 6.5, even better. But I like Portland here, plus 6. I'm going to be taking that because I'm seeing 6s now. Almost, it's across the board, not quite. But if you like Portland, yeah, plus 6. If you like, obviously, Minnesota, you like the 5.5. So shop around for the best number. And that game starts 8 o'clock in the evening. Washington, Atlanta starts 7 o'clock in the evening. Next game's Golden State, Chicago. This starts at 8 o'clock in the evening. Golden State 6.5-point favorites, total 234.5. This one's in Chicago. The number is now coming to 7. We're seeing 7s across the board. And it's at 235.5, going to 236. So we're going to take a look at this game here. Look at the injury report for both teams. So we'll take a look here. This is Golden State and Chicago. So we'll check here. So Chicago Lonzo Ball questionable to play Saturday. So we're gonna do both teams at the same time. So that's Zach Collins questionable to play Saturday. He was acquired in a trade, so he may or may not play. It's 50-50 right now. Kevin Huerter acquired in the Sacramento trade. That was part of the Zach LaVine trade. He's questionable to play Saturday for Chicago. Trey Jones, part of that trade, questionable to play Saturday as well at Golden State, 50-50. So all those question marks are 50-50 for Saturday. Talen Horton-Tucker, leg is questionable to play Saturday as well. Talen Horton-Tucker. Let's see. So Jonathan Kuminga's out indefinitely with an ankle injury. Let me see if anything else is popping up here. Nothing else. That's it. So we'll look into this game. That's Golden State Chicago. Let's see, Golden State Chicago. They played last month, January 23rd, in Golden State. Golden State was a 4-point favorite. Warriors covered 131-106. They won and covered, and it went over the total 233. Since then, last 5 games for Golden State, 4-6 last 10 games, 4-6 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 7-3 to the over. So Golden State's on a 6-game road trip, 0-2 on the road trip so far. Looking to get their first win on the road trip. They've lost 2 straight, 2-3 last 5, and are 4-1 to the over. So Jimmy Butler, got a feeling that he's going to be playing in this game. He will play in this game. I'm thinking he's going to play in this game. I think that's the reason why the line's at -7. And another reason why, too, he's trying to get back at his old teammates in Chicago. Remember, he played for the Bulls, and he's trying to have a big performance against his old team. So this is another angle to look at. I have a plan, a prop on that game too. But first, we'll look at the Chicago side. 4-6 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 5-5 to the over/under. 2-3 last 5 games. That's Chicago, and 3-2 to the over. So I like Golden State here, 6.5. I think they cover the spread. I like him here. I like him a lot. It is moving to 7, so if you like Golden State like myself, try and get the 6.5 right away before it gets to 7. And I like both teams trending to the over, so I like the over. I feel here that the market of this game is moving in the right direction in terms of the total. It's moving in the correct direction. So I like the over here, over 235.5. And Jimmy Butler, over in points. Over in points. I like his over in points. Whatever the total is, bet the over. Over in points scored. He's gonna have a solid game against his old team. So that's the angle I like. Golden State 6.5. Try and get it if you like it. Yes, if you get 7, take the 7 as well, if you have to. But try and get the 6.5. And over the total, over 235.5. We said. Let me double check. I think we said that. I think we said 230. Let's see. I think we said that 235.5. So 235.5. I like the over there. And Jimmy Butler over in points. That's a player prop. So if you like that, Jimmy Butler over in points player prop. Next game, OKC at Memphis. OKC are 4-point favorites. That opened up. Total 240. They're on the road. This one's come back now to 2.5, 2. And this one's gone up to 243. 242.5, 243. So look at this one here. On the Memphis OKC side, G.G. Jackson, the second foot injury is out indefinitely. So we'll do the injury report for both at the same time. Memphis OKC. Let's see what else we have here. Let me see if you see anything else. Desmond Bane is questionable to play Saturday with an ankle injury, so that came up. Lugs Dort, questionable to play with a back injury. Cason Wallace, shoulder, questionable to play Saturday as well. And that's it. Those are all. That's the injury report for OKC and Memphis. So look into the game here. Look at the matchups. They played once already early in the season. That was late December in OKC. OKC was an 8-point favorite. It was 130-106. OKC won and covered at 236. It was a push at 236. It pushed. OKC overall though 7-3. Last 10 games. Last 10 games 7-3 overall. 4-6 against the spread and 7-2 and 1 to the over. OKC's won 4 straight games. They're 4-1 last 5 games. And are 3-2 to the 4-1 to the over. OKC. Memphis 9-1 last 10, 7-3 against the spread, 7-3 to the over under. Memphis has also won 4 straight games. They're starting to play better. They've covered their last 2 games, San Antonio and Toronto on the road. And they are 4-1 to the over. Yeah, the only way I can play this game, I gotta take. Let me look here further. Let me take a second look at this. Yeah, I'm gonna take Memphis in the points. Memphis plus is come down now to 2.5. I'm seeing 4, 2, 2.5. I'm gonna take Memphis plus the points. I like Memphis plus the 2.5, and I'm gonna take the over 240, 2.5. Over 240, 2.5. I'm gonna take that. That's my play for that game. Next game, Boston at New York. This one here, -2 Boston, total 229. It's gone up to now 2.5. Still at 2. It's 2.5, and the total is 230, 231.5, 232. That's the consensus. So we'll get the injury report here for both teams, Boston and New York. Let's see here from the Boston side, New York. New York, OG Anunoby, foot, unlikely to play Saturday. Drew Holiday, shoulder out. He's not playing this Saturday. It's a long. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson's out indefinitely with a knee injury. That's it. Those are all the injuries. That's it for the injury reports. So look at this matchup here, Boston and New York. By the way, the Memphis game starts 8 o'clock in the evening. Boston game is 8:30 this evening. Now they've already played once already this season. That was early in the season, October. It was in Boston. Celtics were 6-point favorites. Boston won 132-109. It went over the total 221. A lot has changed since then. Boston 7-3, the last 10 games. 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. That's against other opponents. Boston 4-1 last 5 games and are 3-2 to the over. So Celtics are in New York. Now on the New York side for the Knicks, let's see here. Yeah, for the Knicks, 8-2 last 10 games, 6-4 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Knicks are 4-1 last 5 games, 4-1 to the over. Yeah, the only way I can play this game has to be over the 231.5. That's the only way I can play this game. Over 231.5. That's the way. That's how I'm playing this game. As for the side itself, I don't have any. Let me see. I don't have anything on the side. I just like over in this game, over the 231.5. But nothing on the side as of yet. Yeah, nothing on the side. My lean would be Boston on the money line. I would take that. Boston, I lean to Boston on the money line. The Celtics all year have not lost 2 straight games. They haven't lost 2 games in a row. So yeah, that's the reason. That's another reason why I like Boston here. You know what? I'm not going to make it a lean. I'll make Boston an official play. Boston on the money line for me. I'm going to take the Celtics. They didn't look good the last game. Struggled last game. I like him here. I like him to win here. So the money line plays the right play for this game. I like the money line here. Plus to me it's a cheap number, a very short number. So I think Boston can get it done. Moneyline Boston and then over 232 or 231.5 over. Yeah. Next game, Denver at Phoenix. Open up -4. Denver, total 234.5. This one has gone to 4.5. I have a play on this game as well. Denver, Phoenix. So we're going to look at the injury report here. Kevin Durant, ankle, questionable. Bradley Beal, toe, questionable. They played in overtime last night, so we'll see if they're going to suit up or not. Phoenix had the rest advantage, so they were relaxing. I'm sorry, Denver had the rest advantage and they were relaxing. Not Phoenix. Sorry, Denver had the rest advantage. Phoenix played last night in Utah. Let's see if any injuries on Denver. Michael Porter Jr., hamstring, questionable to play Saturday. Jamal Murray, knee, questionable. Russell Westbrook, he hasn't played in a while. Hamstring is out indefinitely. Peyton Watson out indefinitely. Let's see. Vlatko Cancar out indefinitely with a knee injury. And that's it for Denver Phoenix. We'll look into this now. So this matchup here, they played twice already. First game was in Denver, late December 23rd. Denver was a 4.5 point favorite, won 114-90, under 233. Second game in Phoenix, December 25th, Denver 2.5-point favorite in Phoenix. Phoenix covered and won 110-100 under 232. I do have a play on this one here. 7-3 last 10 games for Denver. Overall against other opposition, 5-5 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Denver's won 5 straight games, so they're peaking at the right time. They've covered their last 3 games, so they are peaking at the correct time. And they are 2-3 to the under. So Denver's doing it they're playing with some good defense. They're playing with defense, and they're winning games on defense. On the Phoenix side, Phoenix 5-5 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Phoenix 2-3 last 5 games, and are 5-0 to the over. So Phoenix has gone over in 5 straight games. Last 5-0. Actually, overall 6-0 to the over. So I'm gonna take. Let me look at something here. Another thing I wanted to look at. Yeah. So for me, the only way to play this game is Denver. Denver 4.5. This is the proper way to play it. Yeah, I like Denver here to cover. Denver minus 4.5. I think they continue their winning ways. There's no look ahead to this game at all. They're not looking ahead whatsoever. I think they take care of business. Take advantage of a tired Phoenix team that played overtime. They had an overtime game at home versus Utah. Then they got to fly to the Rocky Mountains to play Denver. Yeah, I don't actually. No, they're at home. Excuse me, they're at home. They're at home against. They're at home. But still, they came off and they played in overtime, and I just like them. Denver's more rested. They have more of the rest advantage, and I think they can take advantage and cover the 4.5. I think they get this done, and I like the over. I like the over in this game. Over the I know in this series the last 2 games have been under. I see that here, but I see this game. I see the market's going in the right direction. It's 234. It's moving to 237.5. I see this game going over. I don't see any sort of defense here. I think Phoenix will be too tired to play defense. I know they're playing on a back-to-back at home, but I just feel they're too tired to play defense tomorrow night. So Denver, it looks like they're going to have their way. I like the 4.5 Denver and the over. Over 238. I think it's 230. Let me double check that again. 238, 237.5, 238, over. I like that. Next game, Sacramento at home versus the New Orleans Pelicans. This one here, -7, total 238. We're going down to 6.5. Let's come down to 6.5, and it's 238.5 overall. That's the consensus right now. So we're gonna check the injury report here. New Orleans, Sacramento. Herb Jones out indefinitely with a shoulder injury. DeJounte Murray, Achilles, out for the season. Let's see here. Nothing coming up. Let me see. It looks like that's it. New Orleans, Sacramento. I don't see, nothing else here. Everybody else is healthy for New Orleans, Sacramento. And don't forget, the Denver game is at 9 o'clock Eastern. New Orleans, Sacramento is at 10 o'clock. And head-to-head, They played December last year in New Orleans. Sacramento is a 7-point favorite. Sacramento covered it and won 111-109. It was under the total 232. Since then, New Orleans 3-7 last 10 games overall against other opposition, 3-6 against the spread, and 7-3 to the over 7-3 to the over in this game. Pelicans have lost a bunch of games. They've lost 7 games in a row. Pelicans have lost 7 games in a row, and they've covered twice in the 7 games. So they're a big mess. However, they're 3-2 to the over. Sacramento 4-6 last 10, 3-7 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Sacramento 1-4 in the last 5 games, and are 3-2 to the over. Yeah, the only way I can look at this game. That's the only way I can look at this game is the over. Over 237.5. That's the only way I can look at this game. I can't look at this game any other way. Over 237.5 is the play for me. Yeah, it's the only way I can play this game. No other way I can play it. Sides, I have nothing on the sides here at all. This game's the over, and I like some player props. Zach LaVine over 2.5 3-pointers. Malik Monk. There's some good props here for this game. Instead of betting this side, I look at some props. Speaking of props, I'm going to have a video on that today, later on today, for player props for the NBA. So if you're into the player props, we have some picks for that today. NBA player props. That's how I look at that game. The final game we're going to look at, Utah at the Clippers. This one here, -13 Clippers, and the total's 225. So Utah played last night. They're on a back-to-back. LA Clippers at home. This total's gone all the way to 15.5. Total 223.5. So we'll look at this right now. We'll look at the injury report first. For this game, we have Cody Williams, ankle, out indefinitely. Jordan Clarkson, questionable to play Saturday. Injury management situation, so he's questionable. He's 50-50. Let's see here. Bojan Bogdanovic. He's not going to be playing Saturday. He has a conditioning issue, so he's not going to be playing. He's not going to be ready to play. Let's see. Let me look further into this. Just give me a moment. And we have Colin Sexton's out indefinitely with an ankle injury. I think that's it. Nothing else. Let me see. Yes, that's all for the injury report. That's Utah's and the Clippers. That's the last game on the slate. This game here, they played twice already. First game November 17th in LA. Once, and the Clippers were 9.5-point favorites. Clippers won 116-105. Under 221 was the total. Went under. Second game in December 16th in LA for the Clippers. The total was 221.5, and the spread was 7.5 Clippers. Clippers won 144-107 and went over the 7.5. So this game here, Utah, they're on a back-to-back, as you know. They're 2-8 last 10 games, 5-5 against the spread, 5-5 to the over. Utah 3-2 last 5, and are 3-2 to the over. Clippers 4-6 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Clippers have lost 3 straight games, and they are 4-1 to the over. 3 straight losses. 15.5. I'm gonna stay away from the spread. The only thing I can look at in this game, I gotta look at the over 224.5. Over 224.5 tomorrow. That's the only way to look in this game. Utah's actually obviously giving up 100 points per game, so they're not playing any sort of defense at all. So again, I like the over in this game. Over 224.5 to play. So we've gone through the whole card. Again, thank you very much for joining me on Beat the Number, the NBA Morning Edition, to jump ahead of the number for the over-unders, the totals, and the point spreads. So thank you for joining me. Whether you fade or foul, it's up to you. I just choose the games how I see fit and how I like it. But I hope you still cash your ticket. Either way, I hope you cash your ticket and have success. Good luck. Stay true to yourself. Stay blessed. Stay humble. Believe in yourself. And don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button, so I can provide you with more information on picks and plays for the totals, the over-unders, and the point spreads for these games. All right. This afternoon, we have, or later on today, we have our NBA props for player props. So if you're interested in that, shoot in for the player props. Give you the top ones to take advantage of. Take care. See you later.